Good morning, Santa Clarita. Hey, it's Menji in the morning. Thanks so much for coming in. I'm coming to you live from Old Town Newhall. And, well, I would say that I have some music for you, but I actually have something more interesting. I have some amazing guests. This is why I love my job. I get to talk to some really talented and interesting individuals here. And in studio with me, I actually have Kevin Thompson. He was one of the original Ewoks on Star Wars as... And I also have Jayson, and forgive me, your last name. Dumenigo.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to get that right. Dumenigo.
It's Italian, right?
It's Cuban, Italian. It's a mix.
You are a real American.
I
You're
am.
one little
It's
bit of
true.
everything.
Yeah. Second generation American.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have this amazing conversation that we're going to have right here about stunt work here in Hollywood and TV and film and all that kind of stuff. But first, your stunt out there, your traffic report, what's happening out there? And all right, you guys, I'm so excited. I don't even know where to begin here, but I have Kevin, who comes from the classic film world, and I have Jayson over here, who's still working on some of the awesome things. So one thing that you love to do, apparently, is set celebrities on fire.
Set everybody on fire.
Okay,
that's the business, right?
Safely.
Safely. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not
The
like
illusion.
he's jackass out there. He's actually doing it safety so everybody can go home.
That's just it.
Yeah, and you are being honored with something from the Academy.
The Academy, so an Academy Award in the Science and Engineering. It's a plaque. So for the development of the Action Factory fire gels.
Yeah, and you know what? I know everyone thinks, okay, the Oscars, Best Actor, Best Director, those are like the sexy awards and all that kind of stuff. But I think the true awards really go to these technological and engineering innovations when it comes, because without that, we wouldn't have such incredible films and things in blockbuster, things like setting people on fire safely and in a certain way that has never been done before. And so that must be an exciting feeling.
Very exciting. Yeah, we're very excited with the company. I'm excited personally to be honored by such a prestigious organization. And I look forward to the award ceremony, so it'll be great.
Yeah, awesome. And hey, I got to toss it to break really quick so we have enough time to talk about all of this fun stuff here. But when we return, I have Kevin Thompson, I have Jayson Dumenigo here in studio with me, and we're going to talk about how you guys actually met. Because I brought Kevin in as a surprise for you, Jayson, since you guys actually worked together
We haven't
before.
seen each other since pre-pandemic.
That's true.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
wow.
We go back to Malcolm in the Middle.
We go back to different things I think I was on Buffy and you were on Buffy, but
I
different
was.
episodes.
Different episodes. That goes way back.
Are all these show titles getting you excited? Well, come on back here. Your hometown station, that's the morning show, Menji in the Morning, KHTS FM 98.1 and AM 1220.
Accidents happen, but rest assured Patterson's Collision Center is here to help. Patterson's is a family-owned and operated collision repair facility providing the Santa Clarita Valley with premium collision repairs. Patterson's prides itself on being the only California-certified green repair shop in all of Santa Clarita. They are insurance claim specialists and even offer payment plans for your deductible. For personalized, friendly service, visit pattersonscollisioncenter.com or call 294-1011 and let Patterson's Collision Center help ease your worries today.
Healthcare can be difficult if you're underinsured or have Medi-Cal. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center can help. Services are available on a sliding fee schedule. The mission of the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center is to give the Santa Clarita Valley access to affordable, quality primary care. There are 3 locations to serve you: Canyon Country, Newhall, and Valverde. Go to sdfhc.org for more information and to find the location most convenient for you.
KHTS salutes our veterans who sacrifice for our freedom through inspirational stories on our Hometown Heroes page on hometownstation.com, thanks to our good friends at Eternal Valley.
I'm Richard Nunnally, General Manager of Eternal Valley Memorial Park and Mortuary. We believe taking care of each other is what community is all about. We're proud to bring you the stories of our hometown heroes.
Eternal Valley, life well celebrated.
Visit hometownstation.com, sponsored by Eternal Valley.
No, it's over.
What do you mean it's over?
You had it. It's through. You're out. Orf. ORF. I'm a little sick and tired of being the one that's always picked on. I like this audience, I like this room, and I'm gonna stay out here till I'm good and ready.
And now, back to Trending SCB. It's the KHTS Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back to the morning show here on your hometown station. It's KHTS FM 98.1 and AM 1220. And hey, I'm Menji in the morning. And hey, in studio, I have some incredible people. I have Kevin Thompson, I have Jayson Dumenigo here. And you guys are stunt people. We're talking stunts today.
We're talking stunts.
We're talking for a living,
testosterone. Yes.
Okay, so first off, I gotta introduce why we're talking to you. Jayson, you are being honored with a recognition from the Academy on your innovation on fire and stunt gel.
That's
Is that
correct. Yeah, Science and Engineering Award for the development of the Action Factory stunt gel. Basically, a better way to light people on fire. So the illusion it creates the illusion of peril, but everybody gets to go home at the end of the day.
Okay, so I gotta just go right into this. Like, how do you even get into lighting people on fire? How do you find out that's what you want to do?
I was 8 years old. I grew up in Valverde where they filmed the A-Team, and literally a group of stunt guys turned a car over. Mr. T was there, came over. It was in the middle of nowhere at the time. If you're from Santa Clarita, you know Valverde's already kind of a rural place. And this was probably mid-late 80s, and he picked me up, and he goes, "Oh, you want to be a stuntman?" From that point on, from that one moment on, I was like, yep, I want to be a stuntman. And from then on, Santa Clarita had a lot to do with my career and building my career, because I ended up moving to Woodland Hills for a short amount of time, coming back, auditioning for a show at Magic Mountain, an acrobatic show, and I was 15 and a half.
Oh, wow.
I was not even old enough to work at Magic Mountain, but the producers were impressed with what I had to offer, so they waited for me to turn 16. Magic Mountain can hire 16 and older. And so I ended up starting an acrobatic career at Magic Mountain. That show got picked up by Harrah's Casino. I moved at 17 years old to South Lake Tahoe, and we did that show in South Lake Tahoe. From there, I met a person in the show that was she was an assistant to an agency, and at 17, Blockbuster Video needed to have kids jump off the Santa Monica Pier for a commercial campaign. And I was the only kid that they picked, and I ended up being Taft-Hartley'd into SAG. It's now SAG-AFTRA, but SAG then. So from 17 on, I've been falling down for a living.
Oh, wow.
And luckily getting up.
And getting up, yes. Getting up.
Thankfully.
That's a stuntman term of saying, I fall down for a living.
Yeah, it is. It is. He's right.
Okay, so that's how you got into stunts, but how about lighting people on fire? Specifically, I guess yourself, because you also hold a record.
Yes.
For how long?
I did. I held the Guinness World Record for 5 minutes and 26 seconds, head to toe, without oxygen, is what the category is. And it was just to prove that our gels, at the time, before that record, I think it was like 2.5 minutes, so we broke it by double. And
that's incredible.
It was a way to show that our product worked really well. I held that record for 4.5 years, and then in collaboration with another gentleman that now holds the record, we kind of assisted in, hey, this is our layering system, is what we did. We wanted to have that kind of back and forth. And actually, I ended up going back to try to get the record, and we made some adjustments and things, and it just wasn't as fruitful. I wanted to go for 8 minutes. And so it just wasn't the atmosphere, and being able to take a breath between the flames and all those things led to basically not being able to get the record back. But it's on the to-do list.
Okay, so when you are suited up and you're in flames, it has to be nerve-wracking, right? Being just engulfed in flames.
When you're doing it safely, it's actually very calming.
Oh,
it's
really?
An unusual experience. Yeah, when you're fully engulfed, there's a weird. It's almost like a hug. And then the crackling of the fire all around you, you're like in this bubble. But also I think that the adrenaline, it kicks in, so everything slows down. And when you're a professional, you're having to do certain actions, and you're not thinking of all of the danger that is associated with being on fire. So I think it's a combination of things, but it's very calming, at least to me. Maybe not to other people, but to me it's calming.
Yeah. And hey, if you're just joining us, we're talking to Jayson Dumenigo from the Action Factory, a local business here in Santa Clarita. And Jayson is actually being honored with really recognized by the Academy for his innovation in the development of this gel and how you set people on fire. So tell me, what was the difference between what you guys are doing versus how, I guess, what was the old way of setting people on fire for stunts?
In the past, the gels had to be put on ice. Our gel doesn't have to be put on ice, and that helps tremendously with performance. Because imagine jumping into a cold plunge and then having to recite a line or perform an activity. It's really hard because you're going into hypothermic state, and so what would end up happening is that you'd have to put all of these layers of clothing on that is saturated in this freezing cold gel, and it would numb your skin. It would give you tunnel vision, and we just thought like there has to be a better way, and so that's what we did. Is we developed a better way. Our gel, room temperature, and it's the way that it disperses heat, it absorbs and disperses heat, is what we're being recognized for. That it's unique.
Yeah.
Keeping people safe is the main thing. We always hear about different accidents that have happened, and some have happened here in the Santa Clarita Valley because we are a big hub for different movies. Especially, William S. Hart was the most had the most Western movies done.
Yeah, I walked out there, and Western Walk of Fame is just outside of the station, and Charles Bronson is right there in front of your door. So it's pretty great.
It's great.
It's a long history.
Right. It's great that a hometown hero, hometown boy, is being honored. I wonder how many local people have Academy Awards. I know we have some makeup artists that are out here, some sound men, some different because it's quite a hub for different people. But you being on this, we want to watch the Academy Awards because we want to see you.
Well, and we're hoping that stunts will be recognized with an Oscar statue. And so, it's the Academy of Arts and Sciences, and so with the recognition of this science portion of it, the art portion is fairly easily argued in regards to action. I mean, the founder of the Academy was Douglas Fairbanks, who was a silent film star and was known to be a swashbuckler. So at the time, even before there was an industry of stunts, they were doing stunts. You had Douglas Fairbanks, you had Buster Keaton, you had Harold Lloyd, you had Charlie Chaplin, you had all of these different stars at the time doing stunts, but there just wasn't an industry. Not until 1961, when the Stuntmen's Association of Motion Picture was formed in Los Angeles. And that's when stunts became an actual profession, a standalone profession.
Yeah, and that's why I think, of course, the Best Director, Best Picture, those are the sexy awards, but I think the real awards really come down to the science portion. The former CEO of Pixar said, hey, the technology inspires the art, but the art challenges the technology. And so you always have to keep innovating in some way, and that's exactly what you did. Hey, I want to know, how did you guys meet? How did you... Kevin and Jason, how'd you guys meet?
A little show probably nobody's ever heard of called Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, coming back too for a revival.
Right, yes. Yeah. And have you heard about that?
No, this is
I
the first
haven't
I've
been
heard
called
about
either.
it.
Linwood, are you out there?
They shot the show out here in Santa Clarita.
They did.
Yeah,
quite
a lot
bit
of filming
it.
locations here.
Yes.
Out on location in what was it? It's Soledad Canyon.
We're at Soledad Canyon. Then we were out at Blue Sky Ranch. We
It.
did that whole what was that? Burning Man episode. That was crazy.
Yeah, how appropriate for you, Jason.
But Jason was a stunt double for.
I was Reese's double.
Reese's.
And I dabbled a little bit for Frankie.
Right. Justin Burfield.
Yep, that's it. Justin's double.
Well, Bobby didn't want to let Malcolm go.
No,
he didn't. You were about more his size, but
it was a lot of fun doing that show. I mean, it was just it wasn't high stress and a lot of fun gags. So it was great to be a part of that whole. It was a family.
Oh yeah.
I think you can attest to that. It was.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a family. In fact, it was just everybody just pulled for each other. We were there during 9/11, and it was just it really brought us close together.
From the top down. I mean, Linwood was great. I mean, and Brian obviously blew up, especially after that. I mean,
he had poker games. You ever do the poker game? The river, the poker games on Friday nights. He just wanted.
It was a family atmosphere, so it was great to be a part of that.
Awesome. Hey, if you're just joining us, I have been talking to Jayson Dumenigo from Action Factory, as well as Kevin Thompson. He has a new book out. Well, it's been out for a bit. My Journey to Endor, because he was one of the original Ewoks.
Yes, it was
in
the first
Star
time
Wars.
It's the first time that any Ewok ever wrote. Well, I didn't write it. My wife, Tracy Thompson, wrote the book because, as a stunt guy, you just don't. You're not. I just was not.
You
the
speak
writer.
with your body. You don't
I
speak with your
my body.
yeah.
My wife speaks with her words, and it was just much better. She just kind of looked at it and goes, I'm sorry.
They support us and keep us in line.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
It's very
there
important.
It is.
Keep us in the right direction.
She was was a bestseller when it first came out. Still out there on Amazon and maybe at your local bookstore too.
Yeah.
My Journey to Endor.
I have mine. It's sitting across the desk. It'll be signed by Kevin later on, just after the show.
Oh, there it is.
Of
I'm
course,
glad
dude.
to have made this happen
Yes.
here. Okay, so both you guys being stunt guys, I gotta ask, what is your most memorable stunt that you've performed or even coordinated?
Oh, that's interesting. Actually, it hasn't come out yet.
Oh,
we did a show.
okay.
Yeah,
Exclusive.
I can't speak too much on story points, but Ballerina is now, there's a trailer out for Ballerina, which is part of the John Wick universe, and we shot that in Budapest, Hungary, and we've done some incredible fire stunts on. I'll leave it at that. I mean, in the trailer there's firework, but when the movie comes out, we're gonna be really excited to share that with everybody.
Awesome. What about you, Kevin? Any memorable?
Memorable one is how the book starts out. I realized that what is caught on camera is what you're paid for, because every stunt is a gag, we call it, and you're paid for how many times you do that gag and how dangerous that gag is. But once the camera stops and you have to now land or whatever, it was a rope swing in the very beginning of meeting the Ewoks in Village, and I swung out there, and that's fine. That was scary as it was, but there was the swing back is that I had to do a field goal between two wooden posts that were sharpened to show the primal architecture of the Ewoks, and it was only 3 feet wide, so I was in basically the hands of the crane operator who had to tilt and make it come right between and make a field goal with my body. I'm the football, and so that I wouldn't hit the two posts, but that I didn't get paid for that part. That was not on camera. So I was like, well, what about this? And the stunt coordinator, who's a resident here, used to be, J.R. Randall, said, was it caught on camera? And I was like, no. He goes, then I can't pay you for it.
Oh, thanks a lot, Randall. Oh, man. Okay, I have to do a break for our national news here, but can you guys stick around? Keep having some fun?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's see here. All right, like I said, it's Jayson Dumenigo, it's Kevin Thompson. We're talking stunts, film, and TV here on your hometown station. It's the morning show. Hopefully, just busting right into your eardrums there. It's Menji in the morning, FM 98.1 and AM 1220. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, national news. When we return, Jade from the news team is going to give you some local headlines. Hey, welcome back to the morning show. Hey, it's Menji here in the morning, and it is February 20th, Thursday, almost to the end of the weekend. Hey, I got a special surprise for you. I got Kevin Thompson, Jayson Dumenigo. Ugh,
He's got a
sorry.
C in there.
Domenico here in studio with Action Factory, and he's being recognized for innovation by the Academy in fire stunts and fire-related techniques for the gel that he's produced. But before we get into that, I have to let you know what's happening out there in the highway space. It's currently 8:39 here on your hometown station, taking a look out there at that Thursday morning traffic. And southbound 14, well, that is looking pretty clear until you hit the 5 and the 14 connector. That's where you'll hit some bumper-to-bumper traffic because it's just a slow trickle out of the valley. Southbound 5 is also backed up to Cal Grove at the moment. Doesn't really let up, all the way down to Burbank. It's just a slow drive to Burbank this morning, this hour. Southbound 405 is also your classic commute from the moment you get onto that freeway till about Getty Center, and then it opens up to a nice drive down to Santa Monica and towards LAX. So get to where you need to get to safe. That is your traffic here on your hometown station. And now I hope you dress the part because I'm going to give you some weather. It's currently 58 degrees here in Old Town Newhall. It feels a little bit colder than that, though. We have highs in the low 70s, overnight lows in the upper 40s. So it's going to be a beautiful day. Just sunny, beautiful. We have some wind coming up around 10. It's going to die down by the time you get to dinner, so don't even worry. Plan something for the weekend. It's just beautiful, classic California weather all weekend long. That is your weather here, your hometown station. And now, let's get back to the stunts. So during the break, we had a really interesting conversation. We were talking about AI, artificial intelligence, which was a big thing when it came to the strikes that happened last summer.
So.
Yeah, and so when it comes to AI, I found, because I have many friends in the film industry as well, there are these people that are kind of for it. There are some people that are like, well, it could be a useful tool, and then of course they're the hard no, absolutely not. Where do you stand on AI here?
I think that it's a blend of things. I think that there's a place for it to help drive the story, to accent the real world, but not to take over. I mean, people want to connect with the real thing, action specifically.
Yeah.
But the great thing is that we can do real explosions, so that we're really using the effects department. We can do real stunts. We're really using humans and putting them in planned peril, and then we can make it safer because of whether it's the wires or some sort of a safety device that we can put between the performers and the explosion. But if everything is real and we're only augmenting the environment gently with CGI or AI, then I think that there's value there. When you just make everything and you eliminate positions, you make it all in the computer, I think there's a disconnect, and it's more of watching a video game than it is real life, and where somebody's placed in risk, in harm's way, so to speak, safely but in harm's way.
Yeah. Just last year, we actually had Mark Henn, one of the Disney legends, come in, and we were talking to him about, because he comes from the classic hand-drawn animation, and he actually, started Fox and the Hound, ended somewhere around Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph. So he made the transition to 3D and CGI, and so I asked him, hey, what was that like? And to him, it's like, well, it's kind of the same, it's just a new medium, a new tool, but at the same time, there are a lot of these people that are going back because they miss, you can see the actual pencil lines of things. You can see the imperfections. People want that human connection, that human imperfection in the work itself.
I agree.
Very much so, but in my case, what you wanted was, I'm a little person, and many of the characters that are being brought out to the screen the little people have been replaced, and there'll be the body of a little person and then a famous actor's head put on top of them. So now they're playing a little person. What's the difference in a white actor, a Caucasian actor, playing a black performer or an Asian performer? Is it not the same? I mean, it's just wrong.
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
That's pushing the boundaries. That was done in not only Snow White and the Huntsman, but also The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogies, things like that. So they're like what you're saying, Jason. Of course, you want to keep everybody safe and make the product something of like a better. because it's not we're not driving the old Model Ts anymore. We're driving a fast race car.
I think it's a tool to be used. It's like you can make a hole with a hammer, but you'd probably want to use a drill. It's the appropriate tool. And I think that the audience, because even though we're in the industry, we're still the audience. And I know that when I sit in the seat in the theater, I'm not connected to that type of stuff. So hopefully the studios, the executives that are making those choices kind of realize, like, it can be used. Maybe it's an easier medium to get the story across, but the audiences are not connecting with it. And as we become more sophisticated as an audience, we can express that to the studios that ultimately are making the business decisions. And so when there's less butts and seats in the theater, hey, maybe we're going to make it real instead of a giant CG video game experience.
And in fact, one of the things when we were off mic, you were showing us on your phone, you've developed this thing with the fire on the
gels.
eyes.
Yeah, that's actually one of the. So we manufacture many different types of gels, not just the standard burn gels, but we do skin gels, to where some of the CG struggled with fire, smoke, and water. And so we took advantage of that, and we were able to figure out how do we create the illusion of skin being on fire with real fire, creating an insulator that is clear, and it's an application. And so, yes, we have a new series that's going to come out, and it's just fun facts on fire. And how we're kicking it off is that I'm lighting my eyes on fire.
Oh, wow.
And being able to recite some of these fun facts. So that's it. There's a little sneak peek there, yeah. But that's what.
Kids, don't try this at home.
Really,
adults too. Adults don't try this at home.
That's the end tag.
He is a very trained professional, has over 200 credits to his name and how you invented this.
Yeah. And people can't see this over the radio, but you actually have a little bit of an injury on your nose due to testing.
That's it. Testing. So we were talking about computer testing in heat exposure, and really we've worked with different scientists in trying to get data. But really, the human body is the way to go. It gives the best feedback, immediate feedback. It doesn't mean that we're doing it dangerously, but we will continue to kind of chisel away at what we're trying to accomplish. And I am always the first one to do it. So before I let anybody else do it, I will get in the driver's seat, make sure that it's working properly, and then allow others to do it.
I think that's all of the scientists and the researchers, some of the best scientists and researchers, they test on themselves before they actually go out and go, hey, okay, I tested it. I know, this theory or whatever works. Now let's actually expand to something bigger.
Yeah, it was funny. We did some testing, and there's computers and sensors and all this thing, and it's like on a weird shape, semi-human head, and they're trying to test for heat, the heat sensors with the gels, and all of these numbers are coming back to the computer, and no one knows. Once the numbers are there, they don't really understand what it could. They have a hypothesis of what it could mean, and I sit in the chairs like, well, light me on fire, and I'll tell you what it means, and it was like immediate. So hours and hours and hours of putting sensors and whatnot, and 15 minutes later, I had given them everything they needed to know.
Right, it's the pain threshold, whereas you say, hey, fire's great, and your pain threshold is at one thing. My pain threshold would be another. Minji, you'd be a little bit different.
Oh yeah,
and we talked about that, but I think it's also being amped up. People are they're not comfortable having fire on their body. I think that instinctively that's probably a bad thing. So when you're amped up and you have like a little sizzle or a little burn, it amplifies the pain. For me, I'm pretty calm around it, so it's like a beekeeper. When a beekeeper gets stung, there's really not they don't even react to it because they just know it's not going to harm them.
Yeah.
And so I think that has a lot to do with it. But that helps with the viewing audience looking at the stunt person performing in fire and the peril that is associated with that. So
yeah, and I think it's that human touch of imperfection that people are craving. It's the same reason I feel like people there's a resurgence of vinyl records. People like the scratches and the pops that are coming. It's not a perfect.
It's just a better sound, though.
And you have
it's not so clean.
Yeah, it's not clean, and it just makes it human. And on top of that, we see other movies like let's go back to Star Wars again, where it's like, okay, I know that's not real. And what's the difference going to be, if you made something from CGI versus something that's a puppet? I know both of those things are not real to me.
Would
I
Jar
know they're
Jar
not real.
Binks been successful if it was a puppet? What do you think?
Right. I think he may
'Cause
have.
there was some
yes.
pushback on Jar Jar Binks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Very big pushback.
So if all of a sudden, you know, it was a physical puppet that was animated by many different puppeteers, do you think that it would have been accepted?
I would have loved seeing that.
Yeah.
You know,
Many people say that he was actually supposed to be the Dark Lord.
Maybe they bring him back. But
I
they do
love that
puppets,
theory.
See how people
That's-
react.
yeah.
What does he say in the very beginning? I don't believe in luck. Well, what the heck's going Jar Jar Binks going around getting missed by everything? So is he playing that he's Buster Keaton doing that type of thing? He's doing a whole Buster Keaton in that battle. So is that my son showed this whole thing of Jar Jar Binks is really the Dark Lord? It's like what? And then he played it exactly the way George wanted him to play it.
Yeah.
So it's not his fault. That's how well George wanted it, but it was rejected by the audience.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't see why they wouldn't do more of the puppets, especially when you go to things like Disneyland, Disney World. They have such incredible animatronics too, as well, that it looks believable. Like that CG character is a literal living being. I used to love watching the behind the scenes of, you know, Alien versus Predator, for example, where they did a lot of the animatronics for the alien head and how the little the mouth pieces work and all that kind of stuff. We've gotten extremely sophisticated with our robotics that I feel like why go? I guess
Well, I
money,
think it's
of course.
cost.
It's
Yeah,
money
cost.
always.
Cost prohibitive.
But how cool would that be?
Oh yeah. Well, do you want to do that in post production, and a actor reacting to a little just stick with a face on it, saying that's what the actor is, or a person who was actually in the suit reciting lines back to them?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so it's a lot to do with not only the actor outside of the outfit, but it having to do with the audience accepting the actor inside the outfit.
Yeah, and I think they've definitely made some great strides with the LED panels. Instead of green screen, they're the actual panels of whatever world you're in. And on top of that, you get the reflections of the light from the world onto the actor itself. So that in itself, I feel like, is a great innovation, just getting rid of the, you know, a total, like, what is it, like 300, where everything's shot on a green screen. Right. So, hey, if you're just joining us, we've been talking to Jayson Dumenigo from Action Factory. There we go.
Action
Sorry.
Factory.
Action Factory, a local business here in Santa Clarita, by the way.
Who will be honored at the Academy Awards.
Oh, yeah, and Jason's being honored with his innovation for fire stunts and the fire gel that they've produced over there at Action Factory. They're doing some incredible stuff. You can actually go to afstunts.com and you are greeted with, I think that's you, right, Jayson? You are on fire. Somebody's on fire when you first go to your
burn.
website.
We call it the Nike burn because you can only see the Nike swirl at the bottom of my feet. Yeah, that is me on fire.
Nike burn. That's
talking
fun.
about the video on the website. Yes, that is me.
So, yeah, you are literally greeted with Jayson on fire when you go to afstunts.com. I've also been here with Kevin Thompson, one of the original Ewoks from Star Wars. He has My Journey to Endor, a great book on his
Written
experience.
by my wife, Tracy Thompson.
Yes,
Tracy McCoy Thompson.
who is now on the Arts Commission for the city of Santa Clarita.
She is very well. Yeah, she'll be interviewing her maybe later on.
Yeah, not next week, but the following week, the first week of March. I'm going to have Tracy come in, and we're going to talk about what her vision is for the arts and all that kind of stuff. But hey, Jayson, Kevin, thank you so much for making this morning show so cool.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much.